Oh, Daniel. I think he's straight up pitying Louis in that moment. I think he felt genuinely bad.
He loved you. I can say that now.
Now that I've won for the past 77 years?
Mind if I ask a few follow-up questions? It's just some things I've been jotting down along the way.
Time heals, Daniel. I believe he's a DJ now.
We're just all perfectly zen now with our husbands in apartments that look like coffins.
Sam's in two. There was more than one person in the theater that night who could have saved you.
This fucking piano. This fucking piano. I'm gonna eat the microphone. I'm so sorry. I forgot that they fucking did that to me. That fucking immaculately placed piano note as the realization starts to dawn. Who are you fucking kidding? I'm gonna be real screamy from here on out. The way it took me an extra few seconds to realize that this was another lie, because he said he never worked with Lestat on this. Woo! 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 Oh, shit! Oh, the gay resentment! Oh my god!
He directed the play.
Banishment.
Where does the bullshit start? Armand, Amadeo, Arun. You were supposed to die. I just took credit for it when the opportunity presented itself. And you...
Santiago suspected him.
Told you differently.
Sorry, the way that Louis just flashed to Lestat when Lestat was apologizing. You didn't know what part... He didn't know what part you played in her death. I've realized that Armand is deeply desperate in this moment and scrabbling to spin it in any way he can because he desperately wants to hold on to Louis in the most way possible. But, like, come on. Oh, look at that. The super clean inner sanctum is trash now. Interesting. Fuck! Although, listen. Pour one out for the Armand fans, right? Because here's the thing about fandoms and hindsight is that eventually, and I'm sure it may have already started happening, eventually there's going to be this idea that it was like so obvious as to which way all of this in terms of Armand, Louis, and Lestat was gonna go. And that's simply not true. This show is so good about its ambiguity and possibility and complex characters that I legit, and we legit, had no idea which way they could go. It could have just as easily leaned into villain Lestat just as much as they decided to go for coward Armand. You know what I mean? So, like, the Armand fans, I feel you, man. And don't let people tell you that it was some obvious thing, because it absolutely was not.
First time.
I do kind of wish we had more time to get more of a reaction from Louis, just because that's such a big and devastating reveal. And we had to go, just by virtue of everything that had to happen in this episode, we had to go from Louis finding out to Louis deciding what to do. And there was a somewhat brief window of Louis just being knocked on his axis about this. And I wish that could have been just a little bit longer so that we could really sit with this reeling fucking reveal that sent us all into a huge, massive tailspin. But considering the time constraints that they had, They did this very, very well. It's the way he immediately goes to New Orleans. This slow pan reveal to Louis standing outside his own as he listens to the mythology. Oh, the fondness! No, he can actually remember them with fondness. I can't handle this! I'm about to get real annoying about my OTP, y'all. And just to preface about why I'm about to get real annoying with this, and I will regret absolutely nothing, is because I so rarely win in this sense. I have never been a fan of the right side, of the winning side of a love triangle. Like, never. Also, just in general, I have extremely bad luck as a shipper. The number of ships that I have that are both, like, canon and endgame are so few compared to the dozens of ships that I have or have had over the course of my decade plus being a massive shipper. No, longer than that. 2 decades. I started shipping at a very young age. My record sucks. And this is a very rare win for me. In fact, I'm so used to losing that even this doesn't have me firmly confident that we're gonna end this series with Louis and Lestat together. So I'm just gonna enjoy this rare win for a moment. Cause I can't believe they gave us this. Oh my god. It's not even happening yet. I need to calm down. Except I won't. Oh my god, of course, the piano is Lestat playing, but we don't fucking know that yet! 2 whole last seasons, and we're about to get one fucking scene of real Lestat, and it's this. He's been sitting here with music, pitiful, pathetic, grieving, alone, and pining for almost 8 decades. In New Orleans. In the town where they were a family, I'm okay. And he's eating rats? God! I'm okay. Oh, God. You know, he's still beautiful. Even when he's pitiful.
Would you like one? Oh, stop.
Ow! Ow!
I'm companion enough for myself now.
Yes, you are! We'll get to that in a second. But yes, you fucking are! I'm so happy for him. I'm okay.
Siri, pause.
Him saying millennial fucking ended me bad enough, but just like everybody else, Siri pause coming out of Lestat's mouth, I can't handle that. I mean, they're going to transition us into seeing Lestat in contemporary circumstances, obviously, for season 3. And I absolutely trust them to do that. But this absolutely fucking sent me. And like the one thing that I know about the fandom response to this is that everybody kind of lost their minds at Siri pause, as we fucking should. We'll get used to it, but oh my god, millennial and then Siri pause coming out of so close together. Ease me into it, show. There's just something so jarring. And not just because this is the only time we've seen him in the past, but because he's so at home in the past, and he fits into those time periods so beautifully. Contemporary Lestat? Who the fuck is that?
It was me who saved you, not him.
I don't like to point out my virtues.
Oh god, I mean, we know that, but also, you would not be
I
believed.
knew you'd figure it out.
He knew so hard that the truth would come out one day, that 77 years later, when Louis walks into his, apartment, home place, he's not even surprised. That long passes, and he's like, yeah, of course, this was gonna happen. It was going to happen. He's so thoroughly believed. I can't believe they did this to me.
I was right. All hail me.
All hail me might be one of my favorite things he's ever said.
I didn't know it was a gift.
God, this came out of nowhere and fucking
Got one
clobbered
like a
me.
curse. Where I might learn to live honest.
Did you hurt yourself?
I was lost. Could have saved her from the fire. 2.5 century later, she
looking to her father. But I was never.
I didn't even pick up that they were saying things to each other here because I was so fucking destroyed by what had just happened. So then all of a sudden, the showrunners are talking about how only the fucking actors know what the fuck they said to each other and that nobody else knows. Was brand new information for me. I couldn't comprehend anything. I just thought they were just kind of standing there looking lovingly into each other's eyes. I didn't know they were saying anything. I couldn't tell. A couple things. I did not have it in me to pause at all through all of that, so now I'm not going to remember half of the things that I, like, fucking wanted to say. Shit. And another, like, little thing I saw from the showrunners, I think I read, like, half of one article, so there are only, like, a couple of things that I know, but I think they characterized this moment with the hurricane and everything a little bit differently than what I'm about to say, but for me, it really struck me as their relationship used to be the hurricane, and then now it is them as, like, the eye of the storm, while the hurricane was everything that happened around them. And I'm not fucking okay with that. The unbelievable catharsis of this cannot be overstated. If I tried to make, like, a list of the most cathartic moments in a TV series, this would have to be in the top 10, potentially in the top 5. We've built to this over the course of 2 entire whole ass seasons. And I love that they didn't kiss. I love that this is not a getting back together scene. I love that this is we had so many unresolved things. We need a moment to clear the air and grieve our fucking daughter together. But this is not a moment where we get back together. Because Louis still has his shit to work on. Lestat still has his shit to work on. They are not ready to come together yet. I realize that some people may have wanted it to be like the big damn reunion where there's this big gorgeous kiss and then, like, now they're together. I totally understand the desire for that. I kind of feel that on some level because I'm just a sappy romantic bitch. But I love that they chose this, especially considering we have so many more books left to go. There's so much more story that a really good decision is to have this ending on a sort of feeling that one day, if they go off and do their own thing and they give each other space and they let some time pass and they do some work on themselves, that there's a very real chance that they could come back together either at some point or by the end. It's so good for the characters that they decided to do this rather than just leap into it on a very real world practical level. I mean, obviously this is a show about vampires, so they could have technically gotten away with some unrealistic relationship drama a little bit, like the big damn, reunion here at the end, and now they're together and everything's fine. Never mind the fact that they have a bunch of stuff that they need to do separately first. They could have technically gotten away with that, but they didn't. They went for a more realistically healthy version. And that was brilliant of them. Also, somehow, I never fully grasped the vampire as queer metaphor that they were specifically doing with Louis this entire time until he started talking about the gift and how he has now finally fully embraced the gift. Obviously, vampire as queer metaphor is all over the show. It's all over the whole vampire trope in general. But specifically what they were doing with Louis, somehow I didn't fully realize what they were doing. But now in hindsight, it's perfect. Because of course, a black man growing up in his time period, so angry about so many things, both including racism and extreme homophobia of his age. Of course, it would take him fucking damn near 100 years to finally come about and embrace that part of himself. And that has been a whole part of his tension, of his character tension this whole time, is that he's been trying to reconcile and fully accept his queerness, which entirely recontextualizes his whole rejection of vampirism, trying to survive by any means necessary other than being a full vampire, still being so fond of humans and trying to observe them and be a part of their world and their nightlife still. Like, it just gives everything this beautiful double meaning. And then to have him finally walk in and realize that the gift was not a fucking curse and that he shouldn't have punished Lestat in the ways that he punished Lestat. And this also fully, maybe not fully, but this also significantly explains to me why Louis was ultimately very hesitant to give all of himself to Lestat. That's been a question for me this whole time, and I feel so silly that I did not realize this before. But that's exactly what a good part of that was this whole time, and he finally gets to heal from that, and he finally makes the decision that he has to be on his own for a while, that he has to stand on his own 2 feet. He's healing from that internalized homophobia. He's healing from that codependency. He's trying to be better for himself. Like, oh no, it's so good. I can't wait to rewatch both seasons, frankly, while we wait for season 3. This show's a fucking gift. They lovingly and intricately wrapped up this show in a bow for us. Never mind Lestat and everything. We finally get to see him as him for the first time. And he's a grieving father who's been left alone. And he's just been absolutely still besotted and in love with, like, I think potentially the most accurate thing about Louis' memories of Lestat in the show, in the entire show up until now, was just how besotted and romantic and poetic Lestat was about Louis and expressing himself about Louis. And we should have gotten a big motherfucking clue about that because of the note that he left Louis, or the will that he left Louis in that one scene a few episodes ago. Because that came directly from Lestat. But at the time, on a first viewing, you're like, this seems really genuine, but like, is there an angle here? Who knows? We didn't know. We didn't know which way they were going to go with Lestat as a character versus with Armand as a character versus any of it. We didn't know. So now, going back and rewatching that fucking letter is going to kill me. It is going to take me out. They are trying so hard to take me out, and they finally fucking did it. That's all I can remember.
I'm guessing you haven't heard from my maker.
I'm sorry you were burdened out of spite.
Burdened out of spite. I didn't catch that the first time around. You were burdened out of spite, because I am just as fucking curious as everyone else as to what exactly that scene looks like between Armand and Daniel after Louis left. I desperately want to know, because apparently Daniel and Armand is a thing that's going to happen, which is so delightfully off of my bingo card. And I'm just so excited to see what the hell they do with that and how they do that and what that even is. But I want to know what the hell happened in Daniel's turning scene, like anybody. And at least Louis' understanding of it is that Armand did it out of spite. Because I guess technically that's not hurting Daniel. You know, ensuring that he lives forever technically isn't hurting him. But as we have learned in this show, accurate context is motherfucking king. I so want that scene. But at least for now, the only characterization we have is that Armand turned him out of spite. But I gotta know if that's true. I just want to see it. Give it to me in season 3, please. That is extremely high on my wish list for season 3. Oh, he has an advanced, uncorrected proof. I wonder if that's anything. He doesn't have the version that's on bookshelves. He has the whole thing. Oh yeah, that's right. He finally found the right piece of art to go on the wall. And it had absolutely fucking nothing to do with Armand. Do we know what this piece of art is? Is it one person? It kind of looks like it's two people entwined somehow, but it may also just be one person cradling some sort of rock as a pillow or something. I'm not entirely sure. I would love a download on this art, because it would be truly poetic if it was just a single person, for obvious, you know, healing from codependency reasons. No, of course they're bringing back this music. Isn't this the music that played at the beginning of the season when he was looking at Claudia in the overturned cart, that whole gorgeous sequence where he's like, it's all for you? Isn't that what he said? So bringing that music back here when he's independent and now he's all for himself in a way he's never been before?
Quiet now.
Oh, his brother. Claudia's dress. Oh, God. Oh, God. It's no longer buried. It's no longer hidden. He has pieces of himself overtly in the apartment now. He's no longer suppressed or repressed.
Hire Louis Dulot. So for all you cowards out there talking shit, talking about taking a run at me, I own the night.
I am so proud and so worried for him at the same time. That's the end of season 2. I think I really did. I went ahead and just took the time to just pause as things occurred to me rather than having anything really to say at the end of it all. So this outro is going to be fairly short. I am going to be reacting to the behind the scenes because I heard that they were very nice and compiled all the behind the scenes stuff that come at the end of episodes into one long video that they posted like on YouTube or somewhere easily accessible. I am going to be reacting to that. I filmed that in a couple of days. And in addition to the behind the scenes, there's an interview with Carol that I really want to read on camera and talk about it with you guys. And then there's also the trailer that dropped ahead of this season that sent everybody flying into my inbox. Now that I've seen the season, I am going to also watch and react to that to see what the fuck had people freaking out so hard. And I love a good trailer. So I'm definitely doing that. And then after that, we're playing the waiting game for season 3 for what has become one of my favorite shows of all time ever. I still can't believe it actually exists. So that's it for season 2 of Interview with the Vampire. I'll be back as soon as I can for that behind the scenes reaction fun stuff that I just mentioned. And in the meantime, please remember to take care of yourself.